What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to Thursday night's late night agenda. And another one of those days, my friends. There is a lot for us to go through. I did not think that I would wake up today and be greeted with the Super League coming back yet again. So I'm going to take you through what we know, what we can maybe expect, what Liverpool's position is on it, and of course a couple of other bits and pieces as well. I'll be looking ahead to which players are back training and will be in contention for Jurgen Klopp's matchday squad soon. A little bit on our search for a sporting director and one name that has been thrown around as a potential replacement for Julian Ward. But as always, I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Do drop a like on the video, and again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So right, where are we right now? Well, what we know from Liverpool's perspective is those fans that were put onto the supporters board or onto the Liverpool board do have a veto stopping the club or potentially stopping the club from joining any Super League. But this seems to be a little bit different this time with the Super League. It seems to be aimed, or at least it's been pitched to be aimed to try and curb the growing influence, both financially and with power, of the Premier League. That isn't going down well around Europe. Now, look, you can talk about this till you're blue in the face, you can call it sour grapes, you can call it what you want, but ultimately, it is another big headache and another big issue that needs to be resolved. So I'm going to read through a brief bit of information that was posted in the Telegraph today and allow you guys to kind of get a feel for where we are with it. So it says Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Juventus have contacted more than 50 clubs in a bid to launch a new European club competition to replace the Champions League. The European Super League backers are planning to create a 60 to 80 team tournament that would replace the Champions League, again according to the Telegraph. The project would include a multi-division competition of 60 to 80 teams with no permanent members and everybody guaranteed a minimum of 14 games per club per season. A22, a company formed to sponsor and assist with the creation of the Super League, has consulted with clubs across Europe all the way back since October. This is interesting for a whole host of reasons. Let's just park up the Premier League clubs for a second. As I said to you a moment ago, there's a growing unrest, particularly I think in La Liga, over the power and influence of the Premier League. They can't compete with the money on offer, the television rights and whatnot. So rather than try to come to the table with UEFA and find a compromise on this, they seem to have just thrown a grenade at it yet again. And it does seem like Madrid, Barcelona and Juventus are the ones really pushing this. Is it any accident or coincidence that those clubs are ones in, well, particularly in Barcelona and Juventus's case, perilous financial positions? We've already seen Juventus being docked points this season. Some of their directors banned for 2, 3, 4 years and onwards. And we know that Barcelona have maybe run out of levers. So right now, it is a mess. But do I feel like it is going to be a big problem to Liverpool or Premier League clubs in the short term? No, not really, because it's been driven once again, not with the interests of football in mind, but with the interests of pound notes in mind. Greed, yet again, my friends. So look, it remains to be seen what will happen. But this being spoken about since last October, it does kind of throw a cat amongst the pigeons. And if you add into this the fact that this week we've seen Manchester City charged with over 100 different charges, well, maybe they will edge towards this again if they're getting fed up with the Premier League, if they're getting sick of being told what to do, or if they think they've genuinely done nothing wrong and they feel aggrieved by it. Maybe this will become a lot more palatable to Manchester City now, and maybe they could be the crown jewel from the Premier League who takes the jump across. I don't know. I'm kind of just second guessing at the minute because this was a surprise to me when I woke up today and seen all of this information. I do want to reiterate, though, that as per this article in the Telegraph, it does feel like it's been driven by that growing influence and power of the Premier League. Almost the Premier League is too successful for other leagues. We've got great television rights around the world. Obviously, the Premier League is now attracting the best managers and players in the world, and this isn't going down well with other clubs. I don't know what Real Madrid have to really moan about, to be fair. They are the most successful club in European history. They do have the Santiago Bernabeu and a wonderful new development. They've always had the Galacticos and stuff, but apparently it isn't enough for Florentino. He still smells another pound note, and he wants to push this on further. We will keep you, of course, up to date with developments along this, but there is still some Liverpool news to speak about today, and with that in mind, let me just address the situation with players who are coming back. So Virgil van Dijk, Diogo Jota, Bobby Firmino and Arthur Melo are all back training today, which is really good news. I'm not that fussed about Arthur Melo's part, to be honest with you. I'm Still scratching my head as to why we signed him. But to have Virgil van Dijk back, to have Diogo Jota back and Bobby Firmino back, that is going to be a big plus. Not just for the manager and on the pitch, but for the morale around the club. I'm sure it hasn't escaped your attention that right now it's kind of hard to be a Liverpool fan at the minute, right? It seems like every time we open up a newspaper, turn on a website, watch the TV or whatever, there's negative news or positive news around Manchester United and the possible takeover of them and lots of other bits and pieces. So I'll take any positives I can get. And the fact that Virgil van Dijk, Diogo Jota, Bobby Firmino, and Arthur Miller are back training is absolutely fantastic. And the sooner the better we get them back on the pitch, particularly with that very, very tricky tie against Real Madrid coming up, the better. That isn't it, though. There is a little bit more today, my friends. So it's been suggested by Theo Squires of The Echo that Ralph Rangnick will be the perfect replacement for outgoing club sporting director Julian Ward. I want to know your thoughts on this because, yes, he has worked with Manchester United as a manager, and yes, that did not work out well. But I kind of understand this. Sporting director is there to keep the footballing philosophy throughout the team. It is there to make sure that you bring in the right players to suit the footballing philosophy that you have. And this, in my opinion, is where Ralph Rangnick shines. It's where he's always shone. Through the Red Bull branding of clubs and anything he's worked in at this level, he seems to be a success. Now, I think he would work very well with Jurgen Klopp as well. There would be, of course, a respect there between both of them. I personally wouldn't mind the fact that he'd been at United on this one because, as Theo Squires has pointed out, I think it's a good idea. No, I'm not saying it's going to happen. There has been other names mentioned as well. The sporting director from another club has been mentioned, being linked to Liverpool in this position. But for me, I genuinely think this is certainly not ludicrous. It's certainly something that we could consider. Now, the other person whose name has been mentioned is Paul Mitchell, who is, of course, working with Monaco, and he could potentially return to England and do the job with Liverpool. So either way, it is at least progress that we're starting to get names mentioned, because right now it seems like all we're hearing is about people leaving, right? So we're hearing about players in the summer. James Milner at this point, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who else is due to go out in this summer? Bobby Firmino's going to sign a new deal, but we're hearing about outgoing. So it was Julian Ward, it was Michael Edwards, and now finally we're starting to see these positions potentially being filled, which is important because this is a very important position at the football club. So let's wait and see who gets the role, when they're going to come in and start, and if we think it's the right fit. But ultimately, we need some continuity right now. We need some good news, and I'll take anything I can get. That being said, big game coming up on Monday night against Everton, Merseyside derby. We've seen United drop points in the draw against Leeds United last night. They, of course, play each other again at the weekend. And we've got Newcastle, the game after this, so it's going to get squeaky bum time if we are to be with any chance, and it is an outside chance, of Champions League qualification. That's it for me tonight, my friends. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Do drop a like on the video, and of course, again, thank you all so much for your time. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with this Super League nonsense for much longer. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.